All right, let's go ahead and get started on today's video. As you guys can see, we're at the workstation. This is where all the magic happens. Today originally was going to be a back and shoulder day, but some folks in the comments gave me the idea to run through my supplements. So we're going to be running through the different supplements that I currently take. These, for the most part, is what I take on the bulk and on the cut. Sometimes I kind of like to replace the protein because I have a little bit more wiggle room with my macros during a bulk. But for now, I've just kind of been rocking with this one. But we'll talk a little bit more about it once we get to the supplements. But the reason you guys are not getting a back and shoulder day is because this weekend was Jasmine's birthday and was also my niece's birthday. And my niece had this big old party. They went all out. It's a cultural thing, which is called a quinceañera. And so I was part of her surprise dance. And so every Sunday she had me and a couple of her uncles dancing and practicing this whole choreography or whatnot. And so Saturday was the big day. I didn't have a chance to hit the gym, which I think is fine. I think it's fine as long as that you're going back to your regular routine after. I think you should be golden. Don't try to beat yourself up, or don't beat yourself up too much if you miss a day or two. Because that happens. Life happens. We all have different things going on personally and whatnot. So try not to be too hard on yourself. I know when I first started this whole fitness journey back in college, I was a little bit too hard on myself, where it made it a little bit hard to be as consistent as I am now. But because I started laying off a lot of the rules that I had, honestly, now we're at a much better place. I won't even lie to you guys. I won't even lie. Anyways, let's jump into this video. Let's talk about some of the supplements that we take. Now, one of the biggest ones that is always talked about, protein. Now, there's different types of protein. I wouldn't say this is the best tasting one, but this is one that we get for a pretty good deal, I would say, at Costco. I forget the specific price for this one, but the macros on these things are pretty good. When it comes to protein, what I would look at is the nutrient facts. Now, you want to make sure they have a good amount of protein in the scoop, because you don't want to get a protein that has like 18 grams of 18 grams of protein for a scoop, because that's not really come on. It has to be at least minimum 20 to 25 minimum. I've seen some reach about 30, so I feel like the minimum standard should be at least a solid 25, to be completely honest. But the macros on this bad boy have 110 calories, about 31.5 grams in the scoop. It has a total of 1 gram of fat, 0.5 grams of saturated fat. That's already included in that 1 gram. Don't get it twisted, it's not 1.05. And protein is 25 grams for the scoop. Now, these are pretty clean macros. Now, when it comes to cheaper protein, they start to skimp out on certain things, and you'll start to see things like fat is going to be like 6 grams. Sugars are going to be like 15 sugars, and so that adds to the carbohydrates. This one mixes in pretty well. We like to go with the vanilla just because it mixes in pretty well with everything else. Jasmine originally hooked us up with this one because she was just like, let's get this one instead of the chocolate one. And this one just mixes so much well with other things. So if you're mixing it with yogurt, go with the vanilla. You can do so much more with things like this. But yeah, protein, I would say it's a supplement, but really I don't even use it, to be completely honest with you guys. As you guys can see, this bad boy, I bought it like hella long ago. It's still pretty fucking full. If you guys can see there. It's like I barely use it, and that's because I use it really as a supplement. Let's say it's a long ass day. I haven't gotten meals in, or I haven't had protein, and I need a last minute source that's good and reliable. I grab this ISO Pure and I chug in maybe 2 scoops of 50 grams of protein, and I'm set. And I am set. So the only real reason you would use protein is really as a supplement when you can't get, let's say, your chicken, your beef, your turkey or whatnot, whatever protein you choose. That's just a little bit of a pro tip. Now let's move on to, let's see which one else. Creatine. Come on, creatine. I shouldn't really have to say too much about this. Free gains. Come on. Now with this one in particular, the golden standard is 5 grams. Hell no. I would say it should be at least 10. 10 grams should be the universal number, and that's because it depends on the body on the body that that person is carrying, man. Someone can be 200, and you can't tell me that someone that's 205, 210 is going to be taking the same amount of grams as someone who's 150, for example. I feel like they at least get a little bit more. I feel like even with activity levels too, I say if your body can stomach it, take at least 10 grams. I think that should be a good rule of thumb. Anywhere from, I would say 7 to 10. We usually take around 11 to 12 grams, and that's what it's looking like now. Also, do not get tricked by the really, really expensive creatine, like different brands that there are. Try to go for something affordable. I like to go with bulk supplements, pretty cheap. You get a good amount of servings in this bad boy. I think this one's 200 servings per container. So this bad boy's gonna last us a good amount of time, and you get a pretty good deal on Amazon. So don't sleep on bulk supplements. All you really need is the creatine monohydrate. Really just go for that, and you'll be golden. So don't go for something that's being promoted like those gummies. A lot of the times there's been a lot of those research showing that those gummies don't even have creatine or barely have any creatine inside. So just go with the powder. I think you'll be fine. Now, next one I think we're going to be covering is electrolytes. Now for electrolytes, I feel like more people are talking about them. Super important. Mostly if you're going super hard, you're super sweating. Sometimes if, let's say, you're getting a headache at the gym, let's say your whole day you haven't drank enough water, or maybe you just haven't gotten enough food in, your electrolytes are going to be low. So what you want to do is grab one of these, add a little scoop of some water, you'll get your electrolytes in. You usually want to get a little bit before you go to the gym, and then a little bit intra, so while you're at the gym. But let's say, for example, you don't want to carry another tub. What you can also do is just use some Himalayan salt, use some any kind of salt really, to get some of that sodium, because that's how you stay hydrated. You can't just drink water and expect to be hydrated. Mostly if you haven't ate anything and you drink water, for example, it's going to go right through you. So make sure that you're at least having something with sodium and then maybe a water, so that way it can work properly. After that, one a days. You want to get your vitamins, even if you're not, let's say you're not eating too many veggies, too many fruits that you're getting some of these vitamins from. What I like to choose is one a days. I get these from Costco. I also get a little bit of a better deal than if you were to buy them from another source, for example. So one a days are pretty good. They just fill in the gaps where you weren't able to fill them in when you're with your eating habits. So don't sleep on these. They have iron, man. I feel like everyone needs at least an iron pill at least once a day. I feel like there's so many people that are iron deficient. Take an iron pill. It'll make you feel better. We also take some calcium citrate, some magnesium, and some zinc. Magnesium helps with sleep or better sleep quality, so don't sleep on these two. We take 2 of these a day as well. We also take fish oils. It helps reduce inflammation. Super good. Don't sleep on fish oils. This is the one that we get Nature Made. I think they also have it at Costco. A lot of these supplements, I like to buy them in bulk. So if you can buy them in bulk, that's usually, it saves you a little bit of a penny. So get them in bulk. That way they don't cost you as much as you were to buy a smaller bottle, and you kind of just have to repeatedly replenish. So we take 1 of these a day. Don't sleep on fish oils. And for the next part, actually, before we get to the pre-workouts, man, let's get into the sleeping aid. Do not sleep on sleep. I'm not even joking, because a lot of people have bad sleeping habits, and I'm take that from experience, because I've already kind of experienced this for the longest time. For sure during my cuts, I was having a really hard time eating because I was always hungry all the time, and I was always thinking about food. And so it's super difficult for me to get my food in, not to get my food in, to get enough like fulfillment from food, that I was just waking up throughout the night because I was just fucking hungry, or I was waking up super early just starving. And so what really started to help with sleeping aids, what I do is just take 1 of these. I also get them from Costco. It just naturally helps me start going to sleep a little bit earlier. So let's say, for example, I want to go to sleep at, let's say 11:30. I take it around 10:30, and then slowly it's gonna start creeping up. So around that time, I'm already kind of dozing off, and then I knock out. So I usually take it around an hour before I go to sleep. Fucking helps me get at least 7 hours. And your muscle is growing when you're sleeping. So that's why I've been saying, man, do not sleep on sleep. Get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep daily. Your gains are gonna thank you. So sleeping aid, one of the important ones for me. I'm not even gonna lie. Now these supplements here, pre-workouts, man. Now, when it comes to pre-workouts, let me show you guys here. When it comes to the pre-workouts, it really just depends on which ones you like. A lot of them have a lot of the same grams of the things that you're looking for. The like beta alanine, for example, L-citrulline. Some of them might even have creatine, for example. Also caffeine. Some of them have different levels of caffeine and different types of things. So what I would say in general when it comes to pre-workouts, look for pre-workouts that actually list everything that they have. The last thing you need is to get a pre-workout that has a thing that says blended matrix or whatever the hell it is, because that just tells you that they're underdosing. So don't get those. If you see those on the label, if the label doesn't state everything on here, what they has, and it just says like a mix or whatever the hell it says, don't get that one. Go with something that actually states everything, so that way you know exactly what's kind of happening around here. Anyway, so let's go through some of the ones that I've been kind of rocking with lately. I got this one as a bit of a reserve. I got this Superhuman core pre-workout from Alpha Line. And it looks like this right here. I got this bad boy a little bit ago. Now the supplement packs on here, it's a 2-scooper. So you can either take a 1 scoop if you're not feeling too crazy, but let's say you're feeling a little down, maybe in a little bit of a pick-me-up. A 2 scoop is gonna get you just right. It's gonna get you just right. So we're looking at some Himalayan salt, like I've been telling you guys. So it already has a hydration inside. So it has around 60 milligrams of pink Himalayan salt. It also has sea salt as well, 35 milligrams. It has L-citrulline, 600 milligrams. Creatine monohydrate, 500 milligrams. Beta alanine, 3,200 milligrams. It also has a bit of a energy system that they kind of just break down, where it just breaks down the caffeine. It has around 337 for 2 scoops. So it usually lists the amount that it has in total, so that way you can see. Now for the other ones, you're gonna see that they're pretty similar. Now the only thing that kind of changes is maybe how much it has of something, and that usually means that pre-workout is gonna cost a little bit more because they put a little bit more of those components inside. So this one's not too bad. I would say this Superhuman Alpha Line one tastes pretty good. I would give it at least 6.5 through 7. I would say it's not bad. It is not bad. Now this other one, we've tasted before. It's the NutriCause Performance Pre-Workout. Now for this one, I think it's the Peach Mango. I had this bad boy on automatic shipment to get a subscription coupon, I think, to get it for like super cheap. I ended up forgetting to cancel my subscription, and so here we are with another one. I'm just gonna have it just in case I run out of my other one that's been my main, and we'll talk about this one up next. But this one's also pretty good. It tastes fire. It tastes better than the ones I've tasted before. For this one, it just has some calories, but it's not as bad as you would think. It has 5 calories per scoop, so it's not too bad. It's about 13 grams a scoop. We're looking at 1 carbohydrate. It also has vitamin B6. It has vitamin B12. It has some sodium. It has L-citrulline, 4,000 milligrams. And honestly, the ones that you should really be focusing on is the beta alanine, L-citrulline, the caffeine, and also if it has some type of like hydration, like Himalayan salt. But those are the ones you want to look out for. You want to at least have 3 grams of beta alanine, around also 4 to 6 grams of L-citrulline will be pretty good. But let's get into the stack one. This one's a little bit more of the expensive one, And this one's from Ecovision. It's the dethroner that we've been taking. The list on this thing is insane. And this is why I tell you, once you start getting into pre-workouts that have a bunch of them in their stack, it gets pretty pricey. I think this bad boy was like 70 bucks. With all of these different supplements, it really depends on you on which ones you want to choose. I would say if I were to pick 3 of the most important ones, I would stick to a sleep aid because sleep is one of the most important things. I would go with a fish oil, and I would go with the creatine. I would say these 3 things would be my most favorite ones out of the whole stack that I have, because sleep is going to help me get more sleep. It's going to help me get asleep faster, and so I'll be able to recover more. Way better for gains. Fish oil helps with inflammation. Super good. I always recommend fish oils. And creatine, it helps with endurance, man. It helps with endurance. If you're able to get an extra rep or 2 because of creatine, that's more gains, man. And why would you not want that? Why would you not want that? Now, if you, let's say, don't have as much of a budget and you want to go for all of these different things that I've mentioned, all of these things are pretty important, like a vitamin, for example. For example, electrolytes can also be very beneficial, but these can all be used as a tool. They're not really mandatory because you can still make gains through them, but they're a tool that can help you just like any other accessory, like a strap, like a belt. They can help out. I recommend not sleeping on your supplements. It doesn't matter whether you take them in the morning, whether you take them at night. I usually take all of these at night so that way I can also take my sleeping aid, so that way I don't forget or I don't get lazy. I just group them all together and I just take them all at night, whatever vitamins I'm taking. Now, I'm not taking my pre-workout at night because I'm not gonna be able to sleep, so that's just kind of what it's like. Anyways, I'm about to go hit a leg workout, bicep workout, and forearm workout up next. So you guys will be getting that video tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It's a little bit of a different one, but I think it was a necessary one. I will see you guys in the next video. Remember, stay consistent. Don't skip your cardio.